So here's what I'm going to share with you is this, how we do it. So over the next half hour, I'm going to introduce the whole process, everything you've already seen, but now I'm going to give you the words behind it. So first is learn. That's the lecture part, right? That's the easy part. We've got to make sure people learn. Then there's the say, as the conversation continues. And then there is the do part. So the physical activity, the writing down of things. And then, of course, the last piece is reflect. And again, you can take pictures of this stuff. I'll send you some of this stuff later, but I know writing down also increases our memory. So I want to take you through each of these pieces after I introduce it. So this is a team that I work with, Collegiate Empowerment. This is me over here on the left. And this is the team a year ago. Dwayne's my favorite. So, I've been training them, I've been working with them. I joined that organization a very long time, and I started doing some trainings and consulting with them. And over the course of 10 years, they kept me coming back year after year after year until 2 years ago they said, we'd like you to be our COO. We'd like you to be our permanent consulting COO and do all the trainings with us. I said, sure, as long as I can make the commitment, make the time, you let me know what you need. And so what happened over the years is I continued developing their training. So I'm training, I got their shirt, I'm in their uniform and everything, and I trained this girl, and this is Brittany. Brittany had never done public speaking, never done training. She was on Wall Street, that's what she did. She's a 28-year-old, just turned 28. And she had never done this before. We sent her out to do some events after half a year of training. In the 8th month she's out doing some events, she wins an award. She wins an award because, not because she's amazing, but because she simply followed the process. You don't need to be amazing to build a car. You need to follow the process, right? She didn't have to be amazing, but because she did that and she trusted the process, she won an award. And I kid you not, a year later, the same conference, Amelia won that award when she was there because she followed the process. And that process is what I'm sharing with you now. The process is the same thing that we use when we're learning how to ride a bike. How many of you have kids? How many of you can't stand kids? Just curious. 2 hands. So when you teach somebody how to ride a bike, when you teach an adult how to ride a bike, or a child, can you just tell them how to ride it? No. Can you just put them on the bike and not say anything? No. Can you just have a conversation about it? No. Can you just reflect on how important it is and how wonderful and meditate on riding a bike? No, you've got to kind of do all of those things. You've got to learn about it, to learn. Then you've got to say, conversate. That's not a word, but I'm going to use it. Converse about it and have them ask questions. Then you've got to put them on the bike and they've got to do it, and then they're going to fall. And you're going to say, yes, you're not a bike rider. No. What do you do afterward? You reflect. Why did you fall down? Let's get back on the bike. And the process repeats itself. We do the same thing when you get a new smartphone. Right? For some of us, it's harder than others. Some of us are very technically inclined. They're like, I can figure this out. I don't need a manual. Some people need to learn through the manual. They need to have a conversation with somebody else about it. Then they need to take it and fail with it for 6 months and reflect with a few other people and then learn a little bit more, have more conversation, and play around with it. We do the same thing when we get a new car. It's not a Toyota. That's okay. That's okay, right? There are other cars. I didn't say I bought it. I'm not selling it. I'm just saying, right? I'm just throwing an example of super fancy, ridiculous, that probably takes a little bit of learning to get a handle for that car, right? And you can't just say, here's the car, go drive it. There's probably a flat screen, something in there that they have to learn how to use. There's a flat screen in almost everything crazy now, right? The, what's the fancy electric car? Tesla. The Tesla Model S starts at $89,500. If you want to customize that car for yourself, you have to pay $2,500 on the website before you get to customize it. So they only want buyers, right? But that car has a 17-inch touchscreen. A little distracting, I'd say, right? But you've got to kind of know how to use that. I drove a Buick one time that had a touchscreen temperature settings and everything. I didn't like that because I had to look at the screen to know if it was working. I'd like to just turn the knob. That's what worked for me. But we use the same approach every way we go. It's this. It's tell me I'll forget, show me I'll remember. Do you know the blank? Involve me, I'll understand. Seriously, you have to make it fun. If you don't make it fun, people aren't going to learn in the first place. So you're ready to dive in?
Oh yeah.
Front row is. How about everybody in the back row?
Oh yeah.
All right, I got a little bit of something there. I appreciate that. All right, so here's why. We've got an attention deficit span of 4 to 20 minutes. Do you know that? That is the attention deficit span that we have, 4 to 20 minutes. I'll give you examples of where it's coming from. Music, YouTube, the movies, the news, 10, and any magazine. If you think about it, how long's the average song you listen to? 2, 3, 4 minutes, right? How about YouTube videos? When do you lose interest in a YouTube video? Right? About the same length of time. The movies, if you watch any movie, if you pay attention, don't, it'll ruin the experience for you. But if you pay attention, this is the crazy thing that I do. Every 4 to 20 minutes, the scene changes completely. Sometimes even faster, and they move from one scene to another, but they're constantly shifting. Same things happen with the news. You never see a newscast that goes on for 20 minutes long, even if you're really interested in it. They shift. Same thing happens with a TED Talk. How long is a TED Talk? 18 to 20 minutes. If it's a TED Talk on a college campus, sometimes they're 7 minutes. And then reading a newspaper or a magazine article, how long does it take you to read a magazine article? Even if you're a slow reader, no more than 20 minutes for an article. They're only 4 or 5 pages long. So if we do it everywhere else, we've got to make sure we shift up the energy, or we have a conversation, or we have people write things down, or we have people stand up, or we have people play with the Legos every 4 to 20 minutes. Making sense? We learn through discovery. So let's all discover as we do this. Let's start with the learning. There's so many different ways that we can do that. Concepts, statistics, pictures. I mean, you know it, you do it already. Graphics, questions, metaphors, stories, quotes, video, music, humor. We've done some of these things already, have we not? Right? Which one haven't we done yet? Videos. Here's one. And there's the say part. And there's 3 ways you can do that I know of. Callbacks, repetition. If you're in agreement, say what?
Oh yeah.
What's a callback? And then there's journaling for reflection. So there's time that you write your own notes, but then we'll actually have time for you to just write your own notes. And then sharing, which really builds confidence. Because when you share something or one of your own thoughts, and that other person you're sharing it with says, yes, that makes us feel good about what we're writing. So how can we build more conversation into the trainings that we're doing so they're the opposite of a lecture? Lecture! Yes, lecture. People say that, my heart breaks. Then there's the do part. Exercises, games, role play, simulation, brainstorming, projects, pop quizzes, and tools. There's a lot of different ways that we can do this. And again, having been into the Lego room, that's what I'm going to call it, the Lego room, right? The simulation room. There's the assembly line, I know, but all I saw was Legos. There's so many different ways that we can do that and make that happen. And I saw, as I took the tour, the golf cart tour yesterday, there are places in there for training and learning, and that is where learning happens. Learning happens through discovery. It happens through what? Discovery. Thought I just gave you that. Learning happens through what?
Discovery.
Discovery. Right? When we figure it out ourselves. You can tell somebody over and over and over and over and over, but then when they experience it, you're like, that's what I've been saying. How many of you have had that experience? Right? It happens as we let them discover. So let me take you through a physical example that will help us learn and discover. We'll kind of debrief it and make some sense of it if we will. So do me a favor, put all your stuff down and please stand up. Push your chairs in so the chairs are out of the way. Safety precautions. So we've gone through learn, say, do. The last part is reflect. So let's reflect on the learning and what we've been going through all morning. We've been at it since about 10 after 8. It is now 9:50. Can you believe we've already done this for an hour and 40 minutes? right? It's like a movie. You have no idea. Things flow. When you create a great experience, people will not recognize it because when you're having fun, time flies. And when you're not, it is the worst thing ever. So let's create that. So let's take a moment now to reflect. Take a look through your notes that you already have there. Think about what you've been hearing. Think about the conversation you've had with yourself. And for about 3 or 4 minutes, take a moment to digest what we've done this morning. Learning happens in the silence. It doesn't happen in the conversation. It happens when you think. So I'll give you a few minutes. All right. So here's what we've covered so far, whether you know it or not. This is what we've been able to get into. Establishing a positive and empowering learning environment with limited distractions. Kind of where the conversation's going right now. Principles of 21st century learning, engagement, and retention. We've already covered that as well. Using humor, questions, and discussion to make dull materials come to life. How many of you can say you've got some of these already, right? Creating presentations for multi-dimensional learning, the visual, the audio, the kinesthetic. Getting people to move around a little bit, having conversations. And then developing concepts, exercises, and tools that can be easily applied. If you don't simplify it and make it easy to apply, are they going to use it? No. So how are we doing so far? It's a good start?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I appreciate the energy. Right? So here are some actions, 4 recommended actions. These are not going to be a surprise for you. Make the learning fun. See the first word, learn in bold. Make the learning fun. Whatever you do, whether you believe you're the fun person or somebody in your audience is fun, use them. If you're not the class clown, if you don't have a sense of humor, use the person who does. Let them help facilitate. Let them create the relationship. But somehow make the what? Learning fun. Make the learning fun. In fact, you know what? Let's make that fun. Everyone say, make the learning fun. Now say it high pitched. Make the learning fun. Can anyone do the Mickey Mouse voice? Why am I asking you to do this over and over and over? Repetition's the mother of skill, right? There's a reason why the assembly line, we don't have everyone doing every job. We have people doing one job at a time, and the more you do that job, the easier it gets, the more efficient you get. Make the learning what? Fun. Make it what? Fun. Make it what? Fun. Notice I didn't ask you to get louder, but because I got louder, so did you. People do exactly what you tell them and nothing else. Secondly, is get them to say stuff. Anything. Have conversations with each other. Have a conversation with you, but make it a conversation. Get them to say stuff. Get them to converse. Get them to talk with each other. Get them to talk in their own mind. You can have them close their eyes and visualize what it's like, wherever they are, whatever they're doing. Thirdly is let them do what you teach. If you're teaching ethics, if you're teaching diversity, let them do some sort of exercise that demonstrates it. Because people remember up to 90% of what they say and do. And lastly, reflect on the learning. Do not end any of your trainings by saying, okay, thanks for being here. Find a way to get them involved by saying, what does this mean to you? How could you use this? What's the first thing that you're going to do? We're not only going to do that at the end of every section of the training here, but at the end of the day, we're going to spend a half hour saying, what does this mean? What do we do with it? Because we've been together for so long. If you're with me, say, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We having a good time so far?
Oh yeah.
Who's ready for a break?
Oh yeah.
How long should we take a break for? 2 minutes?
4 to 20.
5? 10? How about 10-minute break? All right. So it is 10:02. At 10:12 we start. Cool?
Welcome to intermission.